We'll see the Quit India movement that happened in 1942, and one of the most important movement during the freedom struggle. In fact, they said that it paved the way for the India's independence. Of course, it required a lot of sacrifices, is what we'll see. And this was Gandhiji and the other leaders, the common men that were following him during the Quit India movement. It is a picture of that time. So, all what happened, you can see Sardar Patel here on the left hand side of Gandhiji. Yeah. So just looking at what it was, something called August Offer in 1940 happened, wherein British proposed the constitutional reform to seek Indian cooperation. And why they did that? Because Hitler was succeeding in Europe, on account of which British were forced to seek Indian cooperation to strengthen their war efforts. Like Hitler was fighting Britain, and he was winning against the British. So British wanted India to help be by their side against the Hitler. So in 40 August 40, British proposed constitutional reform to seek Indian cooperation, and this was called August Offer. It promised dominion status for India, something short of complete independence, little less than complete independence is what dominion status was. And a constituent assembly was to be formed after the war, which Indians could mainly decide the future of the constitution of India. And no constitution will be adopted without the consent of minorities, it was said. Also, the recognition of Viceroy's Executive Council, where all portfolio would be held by the Indians. But Congress rejected this August offer. Why they did that? Jawaharlal Nehru said that the concept of dominion status is dead as a door nail. Like it does not serve our purpose. We want complete independence. But Muslim League welcomed the power given to the Muslims. So there were other reactions. Congress right away rejected it because, as Nehru calls it, a door nail. They wanted nothing sort of complete independence, and British were not willing to give complete authority to Indians. And still, the important portfolios will be held by the British. But Muslim League welcomed it because they were getting veto powers as minorities. But they also rejected the August offer. Muslim League also rejected the offer because it was short of independent Pakistan was not there. And 23rd of March 1940 at Lahore, Muslim League adopted the resolution to attain Pakistan. Individual satyagraha is the next thing that we know. That's Vinoba Bhave and Mahatma Gandhi as well. It was launched because the British were not ready to accept the demands of Congress, and mass-paced movement was not possible because civil liberties were significantly curtailed during the time of war. And therefore, Congress once again asked Gandhi to take the command, and Gandhi decided to initiate satyagraha on an individual basis, not a mass basis, but an individual basis by few selected individuals in every locality. So the nature of individual satyagraha was to be limited, and it was a non-violent one. And it would make anti-war declaration that Indians will decide the question of participation in war when we are free. So Vinoba Bhave, the person standing next to Gandhi, was the first to offer satyagraha, and he was imprisoned for 3 months. Then Jawaharlal Nehru was the second satyagrahi. He was imprisoned for 4 months. There was a third person called Brahmadatt who used to put up at Gandhi's ashram, and they all were sent to jails for violating the Defense of India Act. So this was followed by a lot of other people. So, but it was not a mass movement. So there was little enthusiasm regarding this movement. So finally, Gandhi suspended this movement in 1940. The Cripps Mission. Here is Mr. Cripps standing next to the tallest guy in the picture, next to Gandhi, and all of us are having a gala time there. So a member, Sir Stafford Cripps, a member of British cabinet, was sent to India to propose the following: that immediate expansion of Viceroy Executive Council, and Indians will hold all the portfolios except Defense, External Affair, and Governor General. Not in the slide, I'm mentioning it again, except for Defense, External Affair, and the post of Governor General. In fact, the Home and Finance were also given to the Indians, and there will be dominion status with freedom to determine its relation with international bodies. Like India will be free to take a call on which country they want to have what sort of relation. Also, the setting up of constituent assemblies after the war, members of this assembly would be partly elected by provincial assemblies and partly nominated by the princely states. The constitution framed by the constituent assembly would be acceptable only on two conditions. There were some conditions put by that if a province was not prepared to accept the constitution, then the province would have freedom to frame its own constitution. And second, that if princely states would have freedom to either send their representative to the constituent assembly or to stay out of the Indian Union. But then again, these two things will not happen. We'll see it later. Again, further provisions of Cripps missions were that it promised protection to minorities in accordance with the past undertakings of previous government. That is, separate electorates and reservations will be continued. So, if you try to compare Cripps mission with August offer, I'm just trying to draw a parallel with these two movements. The August offer that was offered by the British and the Cripps mission proposal, not movements, but the two proposals that the British gave to Indians. Cripps mission, like constitution making, was put on Indian. In August offer, it was not entirely, but somewhat put to the Indians. The constitution making process. Again, the composition of constituent assembly was very clearly specified in the Cripps mission, but it was not clearly specified in the August offer. Cripps mission talked about dominion status, with India having freedom to decide its relation with other countries, as we earlier discussed. But August offer had no such freedom; it was just dominion status. These were the points. Now, Gandhi called it a post-dated check, Cripps mission, because dominion status was little less than complete independence, and the right was given to provinces and princely states to secede, that is, to withdraw from the membership of Indian Union. So this was not acceptable to the Congress, and separate electorates were kept intact. Muslim League also criticized Cripps mission because it did not include separate state of Pakistan. Now the Quit India movement, the most glorious one. There is a mantra that I gave you. You imprint it on your heart and let every breath of your give an expression to it. The mantra is to do and die, do or die. So for the first time, we'll see this. What was it? Congress launched Quit India movement because of following reasons. Congress and British were not able to arrive at any consensus regarding the future constitutional reforms. And Japan had already acquired Southeast Asia. There were chances that Japanese campaign will colonize India. So Japanese were looking to get into India. And the people of India were facing economic hardships on account of the Second World War. Again, the separate electorates were kept intact. So there's a very famous speech of Gandhi at All India Congress Working Committee meeting at Gowalia Tank Ground in Bombay on 8th of August 1942. And during this meeting at Gowalia Tank Ground in Bombay, 8th of August 1942, the All India Congress Working Committee meeting was there. And Gandhi issued the Quit India speech, and he said that British must leave India immediately, or else mass agitation would take place. And during his speech, he gave instructions to various sections of the society. And before these instructions were made public, Congress leaders, including Gandhi, were arrested. So, Mahatma Gandhi gave the mantra do or die. He said that either we shall free India or die in an attempt. We shall not live to see the perpetuation of our slavery. So, for the first time, he permitted violent mass movement, and made people ready to sacrifice their lives for the cause of independence. Apart from instruction, he also issued special instructions for different sections. For the government servants, he said, do not resign, but declare your allegiance to the Congress. You do not resign from the government job, but you say that we are faithful to Congress, to all the government servants. To soldiers, he said, do not leave the army, but do not fire on patriots. Do not goli mat chalana Indians pe. नौकरी मत छोड़ो, फौज मत छोड़ो, soldiers को कह रहे हैं. To the students, he said that if you are confident, then leave your studies and participate in the movement. To the peasant, to the farmers, he is saying that if the zamindar is pro-government, like pro-British, then do not give him rent. If the zamindar is pro-India, pro-Congress, then pay a rent that both of you can agree, mutually agreed rent. To the princess, he said that please accept the sovereignty of the masses, what the people of India are saying. To the princely states, he said that declare yourself as a part of Indian Union. So there are three phases of Quit India movement. You see, there's such a mass uprising we can see. Everyone, Gandhi's call invited everyone. So there are three phases. That's the last thing that we are going to see, and we need to understand it completely. First one was from August 9 to August 14, 1942. Immediately after that Gwalior attack meeting, Congress leaders were arrested and Congress was declared illegal. The offices were sealed, and so many things British did. But people were familiar with the agenda of this Quit India movement, the arrest of leaders, and readiness of masses. It led to spontaneous violent movement at a large scale. And there were attacks on British officials, government buildings, buses, and other symbols. So this time period, that is August 10th to 14th, is regarded as Great August Uprising. And there is a place in Delhi called Agast Kranti Marg. Try to locate this. Those who are in Delhi NCR can visit someday. You can come across this mark, Agast Kranti Marg. And here, unprecedented violence happened. So many people were killed, so many were jailed. They also fired on the police and so on and so forth. Second phase starts from August 14 to September 1942. And here the movement is spread to various parts of the country and attacks were carried out on all symbols of public authority like government building, offices, everyone. Now, many places British rule was eliminated completely and provincial government were set up like Balia in UP, August 1942. Chittu Pandey was the guy who said that I am the ruler over here. There is no British rule here. Tamral Pita Jatiya Sarkar, Satish Chandra Samanta, Tamluk, Midnapur, Bengal. He ruled from December 42 to September 1944. So they uprooted the British. Prati Sarkar in Satara, 1943 to 45, under the leadership of Y.V. Chavan and Nana Patil. The third phase, the final phase of Quit India movement, September 42 to 44, 1944, and the movement went underground and was organized secretly by the members of Congress Socialist Party. And their activities included transfer of arms. Ram Manohar Lohia, Aruna Asif Ali, Usha Sharma. She started an underground radio in Bombay. This question was asked in your prelims. Who started underground radio service in Bombay during Quit India movement? The answer is Usha Sharma. Jai Prakash Narayan, Biju Patnaik, R.P. Goenka, and Suchita Kripalani. They were the important leaders of Congress Socialist Party, and they were the one fighting the last stage of Quit India movement because most of the Congress main leaders were jailed. Now, if we try to evaluate Quit India movement, see, the English historians have claimed that Quit India was not a movement but a leaderless, violent outburst of people, and government was able to suppress this movement with violent outbursts. But Indian historians consider Quit India movement as the culmination of India's freedom struggle because, see, first of all, people were ready to even sacrifice their life. And secondly, Quit India movement is the only movement which had equal impact on princely states. Also, Quit India movement shook the British rule by its roots as the violence against the British officials created terror in the minds and they were reluctant to serve in India. So they were also like, we should not do all these things. And by this time, by 1942 Quit India, there were large number of people, large number of Indians who were serving into Indian civil services. So this was all about the Quit India movement. This is what we have for today. In the next class, we shall see the further things. Any questions you have, feel free to ask me.